So I'm going to sew on Darwin's shoelaces first so that you can see how I've done that. And then I'm going to move on to sewing on the waistcoat as well so you can see the construction because it is a rather unusual shape. So first, when it comes to sewing on the shoelaces, I've got a length of cocoa. I've crocheted the shoes in black. I've sewn them on. So this is one of those weird things where you obviously are covering up his socks with his shoes. So you will see a little bit of sock there in that cream. But I've put those on in the black and I've sewn them into position so he's not ever going to lose them. Then using a cocoa length, pull that through. And I'm just going to embroider 3 lines effectively. So one there, and then a second one about 2 rounds beneath it, like that. And then a third one. And then to create the 2 bows, like his neatly tied shoes, you come up the middle, centre, sew a loop, pull it through till it's the length that you want it to be. You don't want it too long at all, just like that. Do a second one. And then fix it into position by sewing between those 2 loops. So that'll just mean that those threads are fixed and they're not going to unravel. So sew between the 2 loops like that to fix those in place and down through, and then you can snip that end off. Right, time for his waistcoat. So what you've created is a rather strange looking shape like this. So you actually chained a long length and then you work backwards and forwards in rows. And then you worked on one side of it decreasing and then the other side, so it looks like this. And then what you're going to do is actually slip stitch all the way around the edge. So you're going to do this side here, then the whole of that central bit, and then the other side. So you've got a nice neat edge to the waistcoat with that slip stitching. Now what you want to do is turn that over so that the wrong side is facing you. So your slip stitches are facing the other side, they're facing the table. Then put Darwin in place like that. And then what we're going to do is wrap it round him. Now, with a man's waistcoat, the buttons need to be buttoning with this side on the top. So we're going to actually sew this side of the waistcoat into position first. So taking a length of charcoal, what we want to do is position the bottom of the waistcoat like that. So how it's going to work structurally is that's actually going to become that side of the waistcoat like that. And then this piece will fold over and this will become that side of the waistcoat like that. So we need to sew this into place first along the top of the colour change line between the trousers and the shirt. Like that. And what I'm going to do is just go round and tack that in place. So it's got a nice, neat bottom line. Then when you get round to this side, bring it across. Tack that edge into position like that, and then we're going to sew the 2 sides up and over the top. So finishing off that end where it is, so you've got a crossover, like that. Finish off that end and then swap to the ends that are on the straps that come over the shoulders. And what we're going to do is secure those down the back, meeting like that to finish off that waistcoat that then sits beneath his cape. And you can sew right the way along between the 2 pieces. Like that. And you can also sew up the middle. I'm going to sew a few stitches between the 2 pieces like that. Obviously you've got lots of ends, so you shouldn't need to rejoin if you've left them longish, you'll be able to just use up these ends to secure it in place. There we go. Secure them off, and then for a finishing touch, I just want to add the buttons on in cocoa. So I'm just going to crochet buttons on, so it's a definite double-breasted jacket. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 pairs of 2 buttons on. So to do that, just go in and around a stitch, and I'm using the cocoa for the buttons so that they're in contrast again. And just double crochet 2 stitches like that, and then you can sew those ends in.